Today we are looking at the 2026 Subaru Trailseeker. If you love the outdoors, maybe you went out and bought a Subaru Outback, but if you really like the outdoors, you would buy an electric Outback. Up front, we have the big Subaru badge. This is illuminated on this model. We also have pretty good looking headlight stack here, although this is an enormous amount of plastic body cladding. I get it. You want a Subaru to be rugged. You want it to be able to take a few blows, but it's not a wilderness trim. This seems a little overkill to me. I do like that we have this kind of like glare, not quite fully defeating because it's pretty glossy, but this black insert panel on the hood there, I think that actually looks pretty nice. And then down the side, well, did I tell you it's an Outback? Look at it, guys, it's a wagon. And it actually looks kind of like the last gen Subaru Outback, the one that was a little more rounded. I know a lot of people are gonna like that. I'm happy to see standard roof rails. This is a ladder frame style roof rack up here. This can hold up to 700 pounds. Down here we've got 20-inch wheels. You can get this with 18-inch wheels on the lower trim levels. More black plastic over here, and at the rear we have Subaru spelled out. It's pretty dark here, so you might not be able to see it. Subaru spelled out across the tail light, and it has a little bit of like this infinity mirror design to it. So when it is illuminated at night, it really looks pretty special. Trailseeker badge on the back. I have to say, overall, I think this is a pretty good looking vehicle if you like that Subaru aesthetic, because this does not look like a Toyota, even though under the metal, there's a lot of Toyota pieces on here, but it still looks like a genuine Subaru. The Trailseeker is one of 3 Subaru EVs now. So you have the Uncharted, which is kind of more the sporty one. You have the Solterra, that one we're pretty familiar with. This one is almost like the electric Outback. Now it does have standard dual motor all-wheel drive and 375 horsepower. Now that makes this the fastest 0 to 60 Subaru ever produced for our market. It's 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds. All of that power is fed by a 74.7 kilowatt hour battery. That's the same battery that you will find in the Solterra and the Uncharted. And it's good for 280 miles of range in the Trailseeker if you get the base trim. If you get the premium or the limited or the touring trims, those are the 2 higher trims, the premium is the base, well then it's good for 274 miles of range. The difference there being that the upper trims have bigger wheels. Bigger wheels are a little less efficient than the smaller ones. But still, only a 6-mile penalty for what I think are much better looking wheels, maybe worth it. I can also say that ride quality doesn't seem to be hurt by those larger wheels. I mean, we're in a touring trim right now, and it is just glass smooth. I mean, granted, we have pretty good road that we're on, but I'm not feeling any sort of jarring or hiccuping through the wheels transmitted into the cabin. So I don't see a whole lot of downside in upgrading if you're gonna get a Trailseeker. Get the expensive one. Why not? Being a Subaru, all-wheel drive is a pretty important detail here. At least it is in the Trailseeker. Interestingly enough, the Uncharted is not standard with all-wheel drive. The base trim there comes with front-wheel drive. And if you want to hear more about that, go check out our video on the 2026 Subaru Uncharted. But in the Trailseekers, all-wheel drive is standard, like a true Subaru should have. And it's a pretty sophisticated system. So it has variable torque monitoring for not just front and rear, but also left and right. So it can really identify which wheel needs the power when and deliver the power to that wheel. We're gonna test this off-road a little bit in the mud. We'll try and get some footage of that. Now, the steering in this car is very direct, very well weighted. This is something that really impressed me on the Toyota BZ Woodland, which shares the same platform, frankly, much of the same mechanicals, interior, tech. They're not just sibling cars, they're like twins. But the steering on the BZ Woodland also impressed me. A lot of EVs, I feel like you get this like numb, off-center, rubber bandy steering feel, and that is not the case here. I really like it. Now, one big difference between the BZ Woodland and the Trailseeker is the steering wheel. It's more of a square in the Subaru, and frankly, I think I like it more. It's definitely quirky in a way that Subarus historically have been. So yeah, this is a nice touch. Otherwise, the buttons are all really well laid out. They're all physical, things that we appreciated in the Toyota. We appreciate them here as well. We've got the paddle shifters that are not shifters. They are brake regenerative braking settings. So increase the regen on the right, decrease it on the left, and great action there as well. All told, it's a very comfortable car and a nice car to drive. Frankly, it's a more satisfying car to drive than most Subarus. And that's largely due to that electric power plant. I mean, all that power coming on so linearly, coming on so quickly. That's not something that we historically have gotten to enjoy in naturally aspirated boxer engine Subarus. It's a little better in the turbos, but even those can't hold a candle to the Trailseeker when it comes to just flat out performance. As I mentioned earlier, we are in the Trailseeker Touring trim. That is the most expensive trim. This one's about $48,000 as tested, but we will get into pricing a little further down the road in this video. Now, 48 grand it's a good chunk of change. I mean, if I spend almost $50,000 on a car, I want it to feel, I want it to look really special, almost luxurious. And this does not look luxurious. It looks a little quirky in the way Subarus often do. And I'm not necessarily gonna criticize it too much because it's very functional. I mean, we have dual wireless charging pads, we've got the cup holders, this center console, I mean, this opens in two directions. That's the sort of functional thinking that we like in vehicles. There is a big 14-inch touchscreen and then the all-color digital driver information display that sits up on top of the dash. That looks nice as well. It is a little funny because it doesn't like sit under a typical binnacle style like you would expect in most vehicles. It's also one of the reasons we have this weird shaped steering wheel that has to sort of sit in your lap in order to be able to see that really clearly. You don't look at it through the wheel, you look at it over the wheel. So again, like there's a lot of functional design here, but there's not a lot of luxury design. And the like one big luxury feature that you get in terms of interior appointment, you know, trim, fit and finish, is the upholstery, which here is blue. StarTex is the synthetic leather that comes standard in the lower two trims, and in the Touring you can swap out the StarTex upholstery, which comes in black or kind of like a stone gray, for leather. $300, you can get it in black or you can get it in blue. And the blue looks old-fashioned to me. I know that this is my subjective opinion, but it doesn't do it for me. And I want to hear if it does it for you. Do you think the blue leather is cool, or do you think this looks like something out of like a 1980s Nissan? I will say that it's very softly padded, just like the seats. You know, the seats are soft and supportive. This door card is like a really nice material to have your arm against. Same with the padding on top of the center console. Even the material above it is also pretty soft touch. There's some hard plastic here, definitely more down below the belt line, but all told, well put together. Doesn't feel or look super luxurious, looks quirky, but functional. You know, very, very form over function, very practicality over preference. You know, this is a vehicle with purpose, and I like that about it. With regards to safety, Subaru EyeSight technology, so that's like a whole suite of advanced driver assistance systems like automatic emergency braking, blind spot monitoring, lane keeping assist. It's all included as standard. Now, there are a couple features that they do require a subscription. We're going to put some details on the screen for that, so thank you for post-production. So the important part is that it's a very comprehensive suite of driver assistance systems, and it's all the sort of like active safety tech that you would want, and that it is designed to make sure you don't, run into a pedestrian or steer into another vehicle or, fall asleep at the wheel. Thank for the driver attention monitor. All that stuff's really, really good, really important, particularly if you're thinking about the Trailseeker, this potential family vehicle. Looping back on some of the performance stuff, now that we are actually on a road where you can do some more performance-oriented driving, some spirited driving, it's pretty shocking how Subaru has managed to keep the weight of this vehicle, which is not a small vehicle, at what I would say almost normal non-EV expectations. So this is not like a 7,000 pound electric vehicle. It weighs about 4,500 pounds, less than that if you get one of the lower trim levels. And as a result, paired with the really good steering, you can hustle this through the corners. Now, another thing that helps there is that we are not riding on all-terrain tires. In fact, all-terrain tires are not offered from the factory on the Trailseeker. They are on the BZ Woodland. They also impact the range pretty dramatically. On that Toyota, if you get the all-season tires, you're looking at only 260 miles of range versus the 280 that you can get in a Trailseeker or a BZ Woodland with all-season tires on it. So I don't know, for me, I think all-terrain tires look really cool, but there's a serious range penalty to be paid, and they're just by design not as performance oriented. You're not going to have as much fun ripping through the corners if you have to worry about really chunky, softer rubber. All right, so now I did say we were going to get this off-road in the dirt, or as it looks today, in the mud. I really like how this car handles in off-road terrain. The Subaru Trailseeker has X mode. Now, if you watch our BZ Woodland, you will know that also has X mode. That's, some of that shared partnership there. There's a dirt snow mode and also a deep snow mud mode. We are in dirt and snow. What really stands out though is how the Trailseeker, that's the one we're in now, the Trailseeker uses those electric motors and the torque split from front and rear, but also left and right to deliver really precise power to exactly the wheel that needs it. So here we go. I'm heading up a really steep embankment. We're gonna get quite a bit of angle there, and it's sliding over to the side, the terrain that is, and you can just feel it in the car. You can feel how the whole thing, as I almost lost my way there, the whole thing shifts that power noticeably from like the front right corner to the rear right corner, back over to the left side as the terrain shifted. I always have the power that I need on the wheel that needs the power. It's really pretty spectacular. And given that this is just riding on regular all-season tires, I mean, cars should not be able to tackle terrain like this on this kind of rubber, but it just goes to show the sort of capability that you can eke out of an all-wheel drive electric format. If you're familiar with new Toyotas, the tech in the Trailseeker is also going to look incredibly familiar, because this is just a barely reskinned Toyota infotainment system. The driver information display, very familiar. If you are familiar with Toyotas, you have kind of a set of icons to cycle through a number of things over on the side. So like you got your econ stuff, you've got your driving assistance features, music, alerts. Nothing exciting there, nothing groundbreaking. The big news is, of course, the 14-inch touchscreen, which I think looks really nice. We have it set to the dark mode right now, and that does pick up some fingerprints a little more, but it will adapt. So like if you want it to be light during the day and dark at night, you can set it up to do that. We've got icons, touchscreen icons for things like heated seats, heated steering wheel, the ventilated seats in this touring trim. I always prefer those as physical buttons, and one of my favorite things about Subarus for a long time was that they had these extremely old school physical switches for the heated seats. So it's a bummer to see this move to just touchscreen controls, But otherwise, it's very easy to navigate. There is no typical home screen. Instead, you have this dock of icons on the left that take you to things like setting, car settings, phone, music, navigation, and the top one, if you have your phone paired, will give you Android Auto, or in this case, Apple CarPlay. It's wonderful to see wireless Apple CarPlay as standard, particularly with the wireless charging pad. You never have to plug your phone in when you're driving around in the Trailseeker. That just adds kind of a level of modernity that I like to see. Otherwise, really easy to use. Apple CarPlay is as you would expect it to be. It's not like the fastest, but it's also not, terribly laggy. So all in all, pretty good tech. We mentioned this earlier, I believe, but I really like the physical controls for the HVAC and the physical buttons that you do have in the center stack. The back seat of the Trailseeker offers really impressive space. I mean, look at all this knee room I have up here, and fully foot room is good as well. So, knees plus feet, that means good leg room. This is set for my height. I'm about 5'11"-ish. And again, really, really comfortable. We have this fold down center armrest with a little slot here for maybe your phone, a couple cup holders, map pockets behind both seats, rear air vents. That is going to be helpful, particularly because we have this huge panoramic glass roof on this Trailseeker touring trim. And then we've got heated outboard seats in the back seat, plus 2 USB-C ports. These charge at kind of an elevated charging rate. I want to say it's 60 watts. That's great if you have an iPad or your laptop and you keep that boosted while you're working in the back seat. Overall fit and finish is good. A little more plastic back here than you're going to find up front, but nothing that's super uncomfortable, super low rent. Feels nice. Again, a lot of blue interior, but maybe that's for you. There is a lot to like about the Trailseeker, not the least being 8.5 inches of ground clearance, but that pales in comparison to the 31 cubic feet of cargo space you have behind the rear seat. And if that's not enough, you can fold that rear seat down for 74 cubic feet. I said it was the electric Outback, and those, maybe not 2026 Outback numbers because it got a bit bigger, but those are pretty in line with the previous generation Outback, the one that frankly looked a lot like this. Now, pricing for the Trailseeker is not inexpensive. After the $1,450 destination fee, you're looking at about $41,500 just to get in at the base premium trim level. Above that, it's about $45,000 for the mid-tier, about $48,000 for the Trailseeker Touring. So yeah, it's not cheap, but you do get a lot for that money. Now, we'd love to hear from you in the comments section below. Does this represent a good deal? We certainly think it's a good driving, very practical, and very capable station wagon.